Well, this is an interesting time, not only for those of us who aren't in sport, but those people who are definitely involved in the sport of business. And Kelley Earnhardt Miller is one of those people who's a leader in NASCAR. You might recognize her last name. She is Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s daughter and sister to Dale Jr. I know he doesn't like to be called that, but that's who he is. And, welcome. Nice to have you on the show, Kelley.
Well, it's good to be here. I'll tell you a little secret. Dale Jr. doesn't mind that as much as Dale Sr. hated the senior part.
I bet. I know. That's interesting. So you've written this book, Drive, 9 Lessons to Win in Business and in Life. And you have, through what's interesting about your book is that you read about your life and what it entailed and how you grew up and your dad being gone so much and being a professional driver and you yearning for your family life that seemed to elude you. And now you find yourself right in the middle of the same thing. You're not driving, you're actually running this business. So tell me about how you've evolved from childhood to now professional woman.
Yeah. So, I really yearned for that family dynamic that was missing when my dad was chasing his dreams. And he really put 110% into that. And so, there's a lot of similarities to running our business now at Junior Motorsports. I feel like I've made more of a commitment to family. The times have changed as well, the way we're raising families and the way we're doing things and that work balance that we all strive for. So, I just have made that commitment to try to do things different while still trying to run a successful business and having good people behind me.
Now, at some point you made a decision, and so did your brother, to get into the racing business. Now, if there had really been some reticence or some even ill feelings about the way your dad ran his life, you certainly didn't let that hold you back from what was naturally going to be your inheritance.
Well, we certainly were born into the sport, and so we've never known anything different. I was the first kid to go to college. My dad really wanted me to go to college. And so I actually drove race cars myself in the mid-90s. So I was in college from 90 to 95. I was driving race cars from 93 to 96. And wow. I was working my first job coming midway through college in 1993 in the souvenir business. And so that part of it was just kind of a natural cycle. And what really probably propelled it even further was our dad's death in 2001 and the opportunity for me to come work for Dale Jr. And then start Junior Motorsports. And really, to me, what was important about that is that we carry on the legacy of the Earnhardt family in our sport. And I believe that that's what my dad wanted us to do through Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. It just didn't get to materialize.
It is interesting, I didn't follow, my dad is a musician, I didn't follow in his footsteps, though I wanted to, but we choose our own paths, and then we have to make something of that. And I just wanted to let you know that as a NASCAR, I am a NASCAR fan. My boys were NASCAR fans. We went to Fontana to see the races when they were in town. One of the great, I think, adventures for us as fans to see your dad and others like him race and feel the emotion. And we had lots of number 3 models in our house, and Jeff Gordon was in our house, and it was just a lot of fun. Those were great times when your dad was racing. So I just wanted to let you know that you're speaking to the fanboy here. So we're excited to have you as part of our show. I also find it very interesting because there aren't many women executives in a male-dominated sports business like NASCAR. How have you managed to navigate that?
I get asked that question quite often, and I do believe that being an Earnhardt and being from that line, that legacy, has certainly helped me make inroads a lot quicker than maybe if I hadn't been an Earnhardt. Most of the people in our industry that had experience with my dad knows what a good he had the most insane common sense, business sense for someone that only graduated from 8th grade. And he was just really good at the people aspect of things and whatnot. So I think that I garnered a lot of respect right off the bat just from that relationship and then just proving myself. I come from a strong work ethic, and I just feel like that I've done a good job, and I've proven myself that I can be here and I can stand alone with the rest of them. I talk about in the book, was in a meeting a couple years ago, a NASCAR owners meeting, executive meeting. There were 3 women in there, me, a driver, and an exec with NASCAR, Joe Gregory. So it's a small crowd at times.
And I'm curious about your family life, because you certainly describe your family life growing up very, very directly. But now, how are your children being affected by the legacy that your father left and your grandfather, who raced in the 50s, left? The Earnhardt name is going to continue to be equated with racing, but not necessarily equated with family. How are you changing that dynamic? Because family is very, very important to you.
It is. Both of my kids, well, I have 3 kids. 2 of them race. 2 of my daughters race. My son's only 8, so we haven't felt it necessary to go there yet. There's plenty of time. It's really a hard thing to work through. And my oldest daughter really struggles and a lot of the things that I talk about in my book of this being authentic and approachable, she really struggles at times in just wanting to be a 19-year-old girl, on social media, doing these different things. And I'm often reminding her, who are you representing? And nothing bad against herself. It's just that, they can just be immature at times at their age. And I'll say, well, remember, you're representing junior motorsports. You're representing the Earnhardt family. You're representing me, and so on and so forth. And she's like, I wish I could just be Carson. And so it's hard. It's a hard dynamic to teach and follow. But at the end of the day, if I say that because she wants to be involved in racing, if she wants to be involved in racing and she wants to represent sponsors and so on and so forth, there's a certain way you got to do things. If she wants to go off and, work at the grocery store or do whatever, she can live the low-key life and do something different. So.
Yeah. So in your book, you have nine lessons. I'm sure you had many more lessons than just 9. Give us one lesson that we can all take away from this book.
We started with 16 and kind of pared them down, but these are some of the most important, and they are really how I run my business, and my experience through my business. Being authentic, being approachable, working on your communication. You can't talk about communication enough. When I talk about communication, I talk about knowing your audience and who you're talking to. In this time of the COVID, balancing your work and family life, that's really hard right now when we're trying to work from home and we're trying to teach our kids school and all these different things. But there's so many good things in there, leading from the heart, and letting that drive. That's what really, the 130 families that I have here working at Junior Motorsports are really what drives my being. So lots of good stuff in there, lots of stories. I think it's an enjoyable read from what other people have told me. And I mean, I wrote it, obviously. So I think, I think it's an enjoyable read.
It's not only an enjoyable read, it's also an enjoyable listen. I listened to it on the audiobooks, and
awesome.
The audiobook is really, really very, I love the way you deliver that. So it's Kelley Earnhardt Miller. The book is called Drive, 9 Lessons to Win in Business and in Life. I appreciate you being on the Carlos and Lisa show, and wish you the best of luck. God bless to you and your family, and continued success.
Same to you guys. Same to all the folks that watch you guys. And I appreciate you having me on today. I really do.